Welcome to our weekly wrap-up. I'm Sylvia Gordon,
I'm Rebecca Gordon.
and we are wrapping up what happened in insurance last week.
Let's do this. All right. So this is really interesting. You know, our last wrap-up, you had talked about the opioid use and carriers. We should see more declines with senior applications.
CMS can decline an application because they see your drug use, and they can say if it looks like possible suspicious opioid use based on your prescriptions, that they won't let you change your plan. So an MAPD plan or a DSNP, they think it's probably going to be more of an issue with the DSNP, but who knows? I mean,
So what I had thought of is last summer when we went out to the United Healthcare FMO meeting, and they took us to their partner Optum for the pharmacy, right? It's really fascinating. They have this down to a science. And what they determined and their data showed them is that typically, and this is the truth because I've been prescribed opioids. If you've had any surgery, right, in the past, you've been prescribed those. That you would get a prescription for 30 days. So like my bunionectomies, I would get a 30-day prescription. When I had, my daughter had a surgery, her ganglion cyst removed.
and the tonsils.
30 days of whatever, hydroquinone, whatever. And for me, and I remember when I had my first bunionectomy, recovering, and I was reading an article about Rush Limbaugh, who it had come out that he was addicted to these drugs. And this was like 15 years ago. And at that time, I had my leg elevated, I was icing, and I had my little pill bottles of these drugs. And I stopped taking them, scared me to death. How quickly he talked about getting addicted to these because he had an injury. So here we are at Optum, and what they have noticed, they noticed that these prescriptions are so long that now what we're going to start seeing is maybe only 5 days. The prescriptions, like that'll max out. And I think maybe what they were talking, maybe 7. Like 10 days is when you get addicted. So people need to be taking Aleve or ibuprofen or something like that. So a big part of a problem with the opioids is these access to these huge prescriptions for such a short need, but you keep taking them, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I need to take them, and now you're addicted. So that was really interesting. My hat goes off to UHC and Optum for recognizing that. And they have even been able to pinpoint the different areas in the United States with the highest prescriptions for these, the longest amount of time. And I don't remember what they're saying, how they're going to implement change, but I do remember it's going to be a much shorter prescription, shorter period of time.
You know, when I think about this, I kind of don't understand it, because when I had my bladder surgery or whatever, the hemorrhoid surgery, and they gave me those medicines, all they do is make me sleepy.
Yeah, I don't like them.
They don't make me feel good.
Right.
I don't see how it's a party drug. I mean, I didn't get it. So that is based on how my neuro pathways and how quickly I
how your body processes those drugs.
The drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about genetic testing, because I love this subject. I'm not really a science nerd, but I'm really into genetic testing. I did 23andMe for Christmas a couple years ago. I love that. It's a great gift. It keeps giving because they keep doing more tests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So genetic testing, we started doing this at Gordon Marketing through agents several years ago, so that they swab the inside of your mouth, and then you will get a printout from the lab, and it'll say, with these type of drugs, so like pain medicine, you're going to be a normal user. So whatever the normal prescription is, take one every 4 hours, that's going to be normal for you.
Right.
But for me, it might be that I need to take one every 6 hours or every 12 hours, because my body, it stays in there longer. So if I take the regular dosage, it's going to build up.
You're over-medicating.
I'm over-medicated, and maybe that's where you get super high and party, and that's when you love it.
Right.
Maybe I'm not getting there. And then for other people, it goes through really fast, so they're always in pain. And then they're running out of drugs, and they can't get more, and they're like, what's going on? So why do we all just guess on this? You know, the genetic testing takes away the guessing. So I first started thinking about this when I went on the birth control pill years ago, and I kind of researched it because you can get cancer, And I figured, okay, she's going to recommend one of these 3. So we get in there and she recommends completely one I've never heard of. So I said, well, why did you choose this brand? And she goes, oh, because the drug rep has stocked my shelf. So I got tons of free samples I can give you like
Right.
4 months for. I'm like, is that a reason to give me the drug?
Magic closet.
I want you to say this drug has less cancer, or I want you to say something like that. Doctors,
Less weight gain.
right, doctor, she thought she was doing something great to make me happy because I was going to get some free samples.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Benadryl. When you take Benadryl, what happens?
It does make me tired.
A lot of people use Benadryl as a sleep aid. If you use Benadryl, or if you've ever used Benadryl to go to sleep, tell me in the comments. I wonder how many people do that, because everybody I know, they love Benadryl. If I take Benadryl,
Right.
it makes me psychotic. It's like taking a bunch of caffeine. I'm like, super wide awake, and I can't sleep. I won't be able to sleep for like 12 hours, 14 hours. I'll just lay there in bed.
That stinks.
It's horrible. So I never take it, but like every 3 years, you know how you get so stuffed up you can't take your face.
Right. Because it's a good allergy medicine or sniffles or.
And it's been so long that I'll take any of those. They're all the same. I'll break down because I'll forget because it's been so long, and I'll take it. And then you can feel the pressure, and you're like, oh yeah. And then I'll lay in there all night, just wired. So that's because I metabolize the drug differently.
Right.
So I had to go on some medication this summer, and they were like, well, let's try this for 30 days. That's how they do blood pressure.
Right.
Unless you're allergic, they just say, let's try it. Let's see if you don't have a seizure, if you don't have a heart attack or you don't die, then we'll keep you on it. And if you have, whatever, muscle fatigue and trembling and memory loss, we'll switch you to another one. Or we'll let you be a guinea pig next month. Well, that's a really bad system.
That's a bad system.
So I paid $300. I've got a genetic test online, and it told me for the branded drugs that I was going to have to take which ones I would be a normal user. So, because some of them, you could have like hallucinations or whatever. So, and it said I was going to be good, and only to stay away from these couple. So I was cool. But I mean, yours could be
for sure.
And then you commit suicide. So I'm really a fan of genetic testing, and Medicare I think should be doing it, because think of all these people that take the drugs for 30 days. Try Lipitor for 30 days, doesn't work. Okay, well let's try this one. Let's try this one. Plus you could have been injured or hurt in those 30 days. So they stopped those tests, and those tests I thought was brilliant. They stopped it. Right now, Medicare only pays for genetic testing for the drug interaction for Plavix, because Plavix has a lot of problems. So. But, and right now, this is the second week of January of 2019. Medicare did approve, and I think this was in May of 2018. They did approve cancer testing for people on Medicare. So we are going to distribute this through agents, and the agent will be paid a small stipend, and the client will get the free test. And the test will be a blueprint to say, hey, you have an elevated risk for these cancers.
Right.
So, yeah, don't you want to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I eat a lot of chocolate. If they say, chocolate's really bad for breast cancer, and you eat a lot of chocolate and you have a high risk of breast cancer, I'll give up my chocolate.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I'm not, I really love my chocolate. So, whatever.
I don't want to be a hater on the seniors, but that test should be for young people.
Yeah, really. It should be for everybody. So the tests are expensive. I think if you want to buy it yourself, it's like $1,000 or more. But Medicare will pay for it. But it only pays for you if you have had a personal history of cancer. So there's certain cancers like breast cancer, colon cancer. So if you've ever had a cancer, like you had breast cancer 10 years ago, you're at a heightened risk for other cancers too. Mm-hmm. So they will give you the test. So I'm thinking like thyroid cancer, it's like a benign cancer. Mm-hmm. But it puts you at a heightened risk for colon cancer down the road. So if you had a personal experience, you'll be eligible. Or if you have somebody in your immediate family, which almost everybody has somebody in their immediate family. So then they will tell you what your risk is and of which one, So
sounds like a pretty cool lead source to me.
Right.
Lead generator. So if this is something that makes sense to you, hit the comments. Let us know, and we'll get that information to you.
Right, because it's not an insurance product, so you legally can cold call any state.
That's pretty cool.
Normally Ohio, I would say don't cold call anything because you can't cold call on Medicare related, but this is not Medicare related. This is health. So you could cold call even Ohio. But this is a great lead generator to get you in front of people, to do at fairs and seminars and talk to people about this. And it's free. They don't pay a dime. They'll get the result, and that's their DNA, so that result will never change. They can keep that forever. That shows where they're high and they're low and they're medium based on their, lifestyle. So I'm really excited about this.
That's cool.
So that's one of the new things we have to roll out. What else is new?
We have a new Bridge to Medicare product that's rolling out. I know, I think of like, this is my bridge.
to Medicare.
There are 8 states. We're waiting for 2 more that are in the wings. Basically, this is a health plan that is targeting people 62 to 65.
Okay.
Huge market. Huge market. I like to call these people the trophy spouses who need health insurance. An ACA plan is incredibly expensive. And so this is it's a combo plan that they can keep up to for 3 years. Rates are less than an ACA. It's great. It's a great door opener.
Because at 62 to 65, your ACA could be $800 with the $5,000 deductible.
Oh, easily.
Right.
Yeah. And
For one person.
And then, yeah, so if you're in the senior market, this is a shoe-in lead for you because we always get calls. I wrote so-and-so a med sup and their spouse is 62. What do we do? Like, so now this is great. So hit the comments. Tell me what state you're in. We'll get that information out to you. It's the only carrier in the country that has this out.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about those people that are getting ready to age into Medicare. Those people. So what I found is they're like in a weird la-la land because if they were on the ACA and they were getting a subsidy, they're like, this is awesome. I don't have to pay for it. This is great. So when they turn 65 and they qualify for Medicare, they don't want a Med Sup or Med Advantage. They want to keep what they got. They think it's awesome, so they keep it. And the system lets them keep it. Why doesn't it automatically terminate them?
Why aren't there a lot of things that happen?
Right, it should be.
'Cause it's-
So they're allowed to keep it. The subsidy will turn off because the government turns it off.
Right.
Just like it could have turned off the whole enrollment. But they don't
Right.
turn off the enrollment, they just turn off the subsidy. Or if they keep getting the subsidy, now they're a problem because they'll have to pay it back.
Right.
So when you qualify for Medicare, you have to get off your ACA plan and it won't kick you off. You have to disenroll. Now, if you enrolled in a Medicare supplement, you could have both. They won't
don't
both
talk
work.
to each other.
They don't talk. Yeah, you have to get rid of that one. Now, if you were paying for your full Obamacare, hell yeah, you got off that the first chance you got. Right. Talk about people with HSAs, so I get that a lot. Had 3 clients last week. They were all attorneys, and they wanted to continue contributing to their HSA. Not after you're eligible for Medicare.
No can do, Shamu.
Don't put it in there because it'll take it. It'll take the money,
Can't
and
do
then
it.
you got the problem, the tax consequences on the back end. You can continue to take your money out of your HSA and
Absolutely.
pay for your qualified medical expenses, but you can't continue to
I
contribute.
think a lot of people forget because, HSAs, there was a lot of hoopla way back in the day, but you have to have, in order to have an HSA, you have to have a qualified health plan. If you go off of health, you lose it. So
Right.
it's you
That
gotta
makes
have
sense.
the health. Under 65.
Let's talk about January. What's the best part about January?
Best part of January is it's somebody's birthday.
Yay! I'm turning 53, January 16th. Wish me happy birthday.
Send her a comment.
In
Send
the
her a
comments.
comment. And you know what would really make her birthday even better? If you subscribe to our channel.
But the second best part of January is that agents start to get paid their AEP commissions.
Nice. If we could do a sound effect, we would hear ka-ching.
Boom, boom, boom. So you work all of October, November, December, and you have to wait for your money. Ha! So it starts to come in January. Now, CMS says that the carriers cannot pay you until after 1/1. But that doesn't mean they couldn't pay you in November. So people start to get nervous because some carriers pay in January, but some pay in February, and some pay in late February, and people they're mad. You can understand it.
Yeah.
We can't make them pay you, and nobody else can make them pay you either. They can't pay you before 1/1. They have to pay you anytime after 1/1. They're going to pay you when they want to pay you. That's their strategic decision, whether to come out right away and pay you or let it sit on interest a while longer and pay you a month or 2 months later. So your money is coming out, and every carrier is going to pay you on a different schedule. How's that for almost good news?
That's pretty good news. And we are hopefully headed towards spring, which in my opinion is good news.
So join us next week. Every week we do the weekly wrap-up. Talk about what's happening in insurance that week.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel. That way you can always get the latest, greatest information quickly. Have a great day.
Thank you.